I think if somebody like just shrinks, like does a Photoshop video edit thing that I can't do, I don't have the skills to do, but you do like Ronaldo's your Fox in the Box Ronaldo video that you made a couple years ago. If you do that, but you just shrink Ronaldo like half the size, it looks like Lucas Vasquez today. Like it just like if you look at his off ball movement, just the way he kind of like making kind of zigzagging runs and then sprinting to the far post, and he's kind of like just towers over the header. It was I honestly feel like the last few months in particular, stylistically, he's really mirrored Ronaldo. Like he's like a poor man's Ronaldo.
Here we go again.
A homeless Ronaldo
Cafu,
for all
Michael
the Ronaldo FC Twitter fanboys who might get insulted and offended that I called him poor man's Ronaldo. He's a homeless Ronaldo. He's like, but a very serviceable homeless Ronaldo.
If you just ignore that one on his back, he is our number 7.
Yeah. So Asensio. So you kind of, Matt, you highlighted a lot of Asensio moments in the last few games, and I think he's had the moments, right? He's had moments. What I liked about today, it was beyond moments. I felt like it was an entire game of activity from him. And I mentioned this in my media reaction. I think he had 6 crosses tonight, I believe. Yeah. So while some of those crosses, at least 2 by my count, were overhit, like wildly overhit, I was okay with it. I was okay with it because he was just involved. Like his activity and off-ball movement on the left, his defensive awareness on the left, which is not something we often say about him, was quite good. I thought this was a really good overall general performance from Asensio. There was even one moment where I thought like, wow, he really got his pace back, because he had the guy he was trying to chase to the ball. I forget who was on the wing. He didn't have the head start as his opponent did, and he sprints past him and he gets to the ball first. And that moment, I felt like that was like the explosiveness of Asensio we saw from a couple of years ago. So outlet was good, movement was good, his runs were good on and off the ball. He moved well in the passing lanes. Again, a little bit over-eager with some of his diagonal crossing, but did well in tight spaces too. So this was an encouraging. And after the game, he talked about like, people don't realize like the timeline of a return from something like this. It's really long. It's really gradual. So I'm happy for him, because now we get to talk about performances, and it's rather than just moments. Where moments are great, but if you can do moments plus performances, and tonight he had both because he had a goal and assist. That was really encouraging Asensio performance for me.
Only things I have to add is, to me, it seems clear that Asensio's confidence is back again. Always kind of hard to gauge that, but I think it's clear to me, looking at his body language, him really like playing passes with purpose, going for those shots again, which was more other games rather than this one. And even in, some of the things he failed to do, which was the other thing I'm going to say, like I thought his dribbling through midfield was maybe a little inefficient at times. Obviously he was fouled in certain moments, but that's the Asensio, that bit of Asensio, that dribbling aspect, that close control, something we haven't seen of late, where he's actually quite good there, and he can show more of that often to be able to kind of like break defenses down, ward off the press a little bit. And the fact that he's back to attempting that, and when he failed it, he didn't stop, he kept going. The fact that the confidence is back is what is really promising for me, because it's always, I guess, kind of an underrated thing, or something we overlook, in the sense that when we want to be critical of a player, we'll kind of mention it and then ignore it and be like, we're never going to talk about that again. When I think like that is a real thing, right? Like your confidence is, and your kind of like assuredness about how you're going to play in God and do things gets messed up when you get injured for a year and you come back on and everyone's slagging you off every single game because you're not playing like the old Asensio. Like that is going to affect you a little bit, and it's never clear. And this is always, I guess, going to be something that we never have a handle on, how exactly that comes back, right? I think it goes down to who you are as a player and how you're able to react and come back to that. And I'm glad that after all of this, with even today, I was like, should Asensio be starting really with Hazard there and stuff? he was able to respond to that. And it looks like he's like, you know what, I'm just going to go out and play my game, which is what we hadn't seen from Asensio for so long after he came back. And as long as he plays his game, he will be fine, and he will meet a certain standard that will please everyone. And then after that, we can finally focus on Asensio moving from playing his game to going to that next level, right? And so the fact that we're finally getting back to like square one in that instance to have a normal discussion about Asensio again is promising for me, and that's something I enjoyed about this performance.